marketing and the growth team doesn't understand jack shit about like, hey, what the engineering teams can be like a combination of memes, a combination of your story, a combination of the founder's story.
First thing that founders need to ask themselves is that, are they doing this for the long term? Because most of the projects that I used to come across in the initial days were very short term thinking. Hey everyone, welcome to the Nalikes Podcast. I'm Talha Asif, and in each episode, we bring you insightful conversations with the founders and builders who are shaping the future of Web3. Our goal here is to educate and inspire while showcasing what other successful founders are doing for their projects and startup. Please make sure you watch till the end as you learn practical and actionable steps that you can apply to your own projects and startups today. Today's guest is Mia, who is the co-founder of Unhashed, where she helps Web3 brands with content. She has worked with brands like Third Web, Alchemy, Leisure, and many more. In today's episode, we'll be asking Mia, how can Web3 founders and brands use content to get traction? Thank you so much for coming on, Mia. How are you?
Hey Tala, I'm really excited for the conversation and doing awesome and really looking forward to our conversation.
Amazing. So, like I was saying before we started recording, is that one thing that I've noticed a problem in this space is that when founders start their project, they don't have all the skills needed, right? So either they can learn themselves or they can bring people like experts like you on. So in this episode, we'll be just learning more about your background and focusing specifically on how can founders leverage content or to get distribution for their project. But before we jump into that, can you tell us about your background? Who is Mia, or what were you doing before Web3?
Yeah, absolutely. I get that question a lot. I accidentally stumbled into Web3 actually. So I was working as a freelancer consultant in the SaaS world, and I was working with this agency called Brand Creatives. And the editor there told me, hey, there's this new project that I've got, and we don't really have anybody who understands content in the company. And it was Nest. It was huge in 2021. It was identity. It was into identity and access management. And I was like, sure, but I don't really understand anything about Web3. And she's like, it's not that tough, you'll get it. Like, just get going. And I kind of went down the rabbit hole. Started from there. And then I made outreaches to different companies. MoonPay was one of them, which said, hey, we love your background, your skill set. We would love to have you on board and work on the content that we are doing. And then Alchemy, made an inbound request to come and help them as well. I think the unique skill set that I found in Web3 was, at least when I was starting out in the space, there were not enough people who really understood marketing. It was essentially tech bros who were just trying to figure it out for themselves, all builders, or there were this other class of just traders and people just interested in the money aspect of it. The marketers that were there only understood how to sell to more traders or more builders. Nobody really understood as to how to market to consumers and how that really looks like. So my background and just systems building in terms of hey, what are the KPIs you should set, how that whole system works, how do you strategize, how do you execute, how do you set OKRs and hold your team accountable to it. All of these things were unique skill sets that I was bringing in from the Web2 world. And also I kind of took the time to understand Web3, the tech, the space, the people I was marketing to. So bringing those two together, I think really.
Why marketing? Let's keep Web3 aside. Why do you think is marketing matters, and why did you personally decide to do that? Was it something you, like you said, you stumbled upon, or is it something you intentionally did that? Is it something I want to do?
Yeah, that's a good question. I was not in marketing from the start. I was into writing. So I was Times Writer of the Year in 2017. And that's where, I fully came to terms with my own journalistic skills and I decided to do something with it. But my idea of writing was more hey, write Stephen King novels, get published and make it famous. And I tried that. I got rejected by pretty much all publishers out there. And I was like, hey, I'm not giving up this early. So I decided to self-publish and learn marketing. And in the process of learning marketing, I understood that, hey, there's not just one way of making money through writing. There are all these other ways and formats. And this is where I got introduced to brand storytelling. I feel like marketing just generally is an engine to amplify a good product that's helping people out there. And I feel if something is working for you, putting fuel to the fire always helps. And you always need good marketers who can help builders who are out there and want to do good in the world to just amplify the message, if that makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. My next question is why did you decide to become a founder yourself? You could have just worked with these big companies, like you mentioned, MoonPay, Alchemy. These are big brands. Why did you like? No, I want to go do my something of my own. Was it purely you want to make more money, or was there something else?
Um, That's another interesting question. Like before in the SaaS and consulting world, I had like a small team of just people who were helping me because I had so many like different projects reaching out to me, and I like honestly could not handle the bandwidth. I also had like a part-time job with a company that essentially sold marijuana in US. That's a different story. It had just been legalized in the US. We were selling like crazy. So I had like a lot of work. So essentially, I just hired a small team under me. The idea to do an agency was not mine. It was actually a friend in the space who had been around for a long time. And the agency Unhash, first of all, has been around for 6 years in the space now. I only joined the agency a year and a half ago with my now ex co-founder. So we decided to partner up. He already had an agency. He had team members working under him. I just came in, like I used my consulting skills to like officially set up systems, set up the team, like did a bit of leadership and management, and like structured the sales process and all of these other details. And again, like agency was something that I stumbled into. And once I got into, I realized like, hey, it's so much more than just, like writing stories for brands or doing the messaging or the content marketing for them. It's also about like hiring people, learning sales, learning to communicate, learning to set expectations, like leadership and management, and so many other things. And I just found that process of like learning, building like very enjoyable. So we were just a service based company at the start, and now we are expanding into products as well. I have a new product that I'm building with one of my existing clients actually. So yeah, all very exciting stuff.
Very interesting. So now, before we jump into the meat of this podcast, just one last question: Why? What is your why? Personal why? I ask this question to everyone on this podcast.
Okay.
Are you familiar with the concept? Right, start with why.
Yes, Simon
Yeah,
Sinek, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, so my personal why is like, hey, I just have a unique skill set that I feel like helps, like I said, good products and specifically speaking about Web3, good products and protocols like amplify the message and what they want to do in the world. And I feel like uh, me helping them out with it will help the cause of Web3, all in all, decentralization, making our financial system accessible to everybody, like push that cause further. And yeah, that is it. I honestly, like there was a phase in my life where I was thinking too much about the why, and I came to the conclusion like just overthinking on it doesn't help. You need to just focus on like growing where you are and just making sure that you are putting out good in the world.
Very interesting. All right, so let's say if I'm a founder, founders watch this podcast. We have a product in either NFT, infra, gaming, or whichever segment, and I have zero clue on what content marketing is, and I have never applied it to my project. So let's walk them through journey, help them understand what is this thing called content marketing that they can do, and why does it matter, and then we'll move forward from there.
Yeah.
Specifically for Web3 founders.
Yeah, sounds good. So if you are, first of all, like the type of projects that Unhashed specializes in infra first projects. So if you are an L1, L2 building in the space, then you are the ideal type of companies I would want to work with.
Why is that? Because do they have funding, or is it because this is something you really want to expand further?
Um, do they have more funding? Honestly, I've started to think like infra companies like don't have like the money and the funding. It's more of the DeFi projects and the application projects that are coming up that have more of the funding now. So my reason for working with infra companies is, hey, I have a background in strategy. So and the thing that we sell is not content marketing. It's more of the results that we bring with content marketing, whether it's like, hey, helping you like gain more traction on Twitter, or helping you, close deals with your newsletters for B2B focused companies, or, helping you like get SEO traffic. So like FYI, if you've been in the Web3 space for longer than like 6 months maybe, and if you've ever Googled any Web3 term, it's very likely that you've come across one of my articles. If you Google what is layer one, my article comes up. If you Google Bitcoin Gold, my article comes up. Anything around ZK, my article would likely pop up. Web3 developer stack, all of these terms, like all of our client articles rank for these terms, which I'm very proud of. So if you're a new founder, like reaching out to me and asking me for, hey, where do I start? My initial few questions is just like discovery on, hey, why do you want to build this product? Like, what's your idea behind it? Because like I said, I'm not selling content marketing here. I'm selling you more of the results. And if you're talking more about the results as to, hey, if I'll help you, like, let's say close deals with your newsletter, or if I'll help you, like, get to, if I'll help you own terms in the industry or get to number one rank for a certain keyword, then you have to be patient with the process, because organic marketing, minimum like 5 or 6 months. That's like this company policy. Like, I don't engage with anybody for less than 5 or 6 months anymore. So like, I need to like be very clear on, hey, what are your motivations for getting in the space? Like, what are you looking for? Why are you building this product? And most importantly, you need to have conviction on what you are building. Conviction also keeps changing. I feel like, especially in Web3, where everything is so much driven by macro narratives, do you have clarity on what you want to build, and will you be patient enough while I'm doing the process with you, is the primary thing.
Mhm. So what you're saying is that the first thing that founders need to ask themselves is that, are they doing this for the long term? Because most of the projects that I used to come across in the initial days were very short term thinking, right? Launch a coin, launch a NFT project, stuff like that. So the first prerequisite to getting results with content is it should be long term, right?
Yes.
But how would that work? Because founders don't really even know if their product would work or not. They spend 6 or 7 months and then they have to shut down. Then all that effort is in vain. So how do we figure out if it's something we should do or not?
I would love to have an answer to that question, but I honestly don't know. And as somebody, Web3 is a very small space, right? So I often like find myself in a position where I'm working with competitors. Like, I work with two of my portfolio companies. One is ThirdWeb and one is QuickNote. Like, they are like as competitive as like two companies can be in the Web3 developer tool space. And also Alchemy has been one of my clients. I don't actively work with them anymore, but yeah, so like they actively compete against each other. And also just infra space in general, like, you don't know like where all of this is going. Like, there are so many different narratives and things going on. Like, if I start having like very strong opinions on like, hey, this is how it should be, or this is how the end game looks like, that'll be very difficult for me to like work with any client, because like I will not have conviction. So more than like conviction and, hey, like, what is it that you want? Like I said, I look for clarity. And do you like, are you in it for the long haul, even if that means like pivoting when you have new information, or when there are like new technologies coming in that makes the technology that you are working on or the product that you're working on at the moment outdated. And yeah, that.
Makes sense. And let's talk about these strategies. So you mentioned Twitter, newsletter, SEO. So are these things that normally any founder can use in their content marketing process, or is there something else as well? And can you just talk a little bit about each?
Yeah, absolutely. So like, context is everything. Like, so the three things that I proposed, I essentially like run an organic marketing agency, and there are different campaigns that work for different types of companies. So there's no one size fits all. So context is very important, and that's why I take my discovery calls very seriously, like, just to understand, hey, what is your goal? What are you looking for? And it's okay to have like short term goals along with long term goals, but like, again, all of them have to be realistic. And like, I kind of help you manage expectations based on my past experience of how I've learned and marketed for the other clients or similar clients that I have in the space. So what strategy will work for you will depend on like, what is the type of company that you are. If you are like a B2B product, that's, let's say, selling to other protocols, and that's your primary way, maybe newsletter will be the thing that will work very well for you. So Ethermail is like one of the companies that's working with us. So Ethermail, it does emailing for Web3 companies out there. So we have our own newsletter that goes out to the growth and the growth people, the marketing people in different companies, and we try to close the deals from there. And I also like to have skin in the game. So the deal structure that we have with this company is, hey, I'll take in a percentage of the revenue that comes in through the newsletter. So this is like one structure. Like with SEO, like, this is ideal for companies that are in the dev tooling space. So companies like ThirdWeb and QuickNote who want to rank for terms. If you Google like Web3 developer marketing, not Web3 developer marketing, Web3 developer stack, the article that comes up is that of QuickNote. It's the first position, and I think like ThirdWeb and the others then. So all of these keywords are keywords that you would want to rank for, and SEO is the ideal case. Also, any use case first content. So developers looking to solve a particular problem, all EIP updates and stuff that happens. Like, if you're a developer focused company, SEO is the thing that would work for you. if you are building more for the Web 2.5 kind of audience, then again, I would focus more on, let's say, newsletters or running specific targeted campaigns on Twitter. For you, Twitter generally works for like all audiences, and then there is Telegram also. So it really depends on the type of product and protocol that you have. The general steps that I outlined is, hey, first is like, is your positioning in the market clear, and are you clearly communicating what the product and protocol is? You'll be surprised by how many times like there's such a big gap between like the engineering team and the first people actually building the product with the marketing and the growth people. So getting clarity on the positioning and messaging is step one. Then creating a strategy and a plan of, hey, what are we going to do in the next 6 months that are going to drive like the goals that we have. And goals, like I said, can be short term, can be long term. For a DeFi protocol, maybe it can look like, hey, we want to get to like 1 million TVL if we are just starting out by the end of the quarter or something. So like, again, we will like backtrack and like create campaigns for you. So like, let's say a campaign with Galaxy and T-Bank would be one of them. And like increasing your Twitter growth from where it is to like X percentage would be like another goal. Strategy is the second piece of it. Like execution, then of course, we will draw out a map of, hey, these are the execution pieces. And the last bit is, like setting KPIs and OKRs. So at the end of every 45 days, like I do like comprehensive reporting of, hey, this was the goal. This is how close we've come to that. And based on that, we either change the strategy or, we continue with it, or maybe go harder or go slower, take it at our own pace, depending on like what is the type of results that we are seeing. Does that make sense?
There's so much to unpack here, so I was just holding back my questions. I want to go with each one. So let's say this newsletter thing, right?
Yeah.
So anyone can start a newsletter. They can use Substack, Beehive, and stuff like that. So let's say I'm a founder and I fit the criteria. I have my positioning figured out. I start this newsletter. What do I do next? How many times do I post? How do I acquire more users? Because it's not like I start writing and deals will convert automatically. So share more insights, like share your thoughts.
Yeah, I think again there are two components to this. One is like just based on like seeing past campaigns and seeing a number of campaigns different times. Like I just know what works. So there is like 40% component of like, hey, like this will just work. Like if you run campaigns with these partners, like it'll just work. Like if you do like a learn campaign, so Bondex is like one of our clients, and the other day I was proposing that, hey, we have like a big community of people who want to like learn skills and be hired with different products and protocols that are out there. So Bonix is a hiring platform. So what I was suggesting is, hey, why don't we partner up with other protocols in the space, and we do like learning programs and courses, and we market to these communities. So every protocol that we've marketed with, we get access to their communities because they will co-market with us, whatever is the learning course that we have, and we get a chance to like onboard their communities into the Bondex platform. Plus, the existing users of Bondex get to be engaged more with the campaign because now they have, let's say, an NFT certification that they get at the end of the course that we are running, which increases their trust score on the platform and helps them, get hired even better or easily when there is a chance with that company. And also, like, again, these courses are a chance for you to be educated about a protocol and a product without really getting hired. So like, let's say, we take like something very technical. Let's say I'm working in the ZK space and Succinct is a company that I want to be hired with. Like if you've done like a comprehensive ZK ML course with Bondex, then like Succinct knows like the shit and you've cleared this. So then your likelihood of hiring also goes up.
Don't you think this strategy works when you already have an audience? But I'm talking about the 0 to 1, yeah.
0 to 1, yeah. So 0 to 1, like this is an unsexy answer, but like 0 to 1 like has to be a little bit artificial at the start. You can't really like bootstrap community if you want to do it quick. Like the slow way is, hey, you try to like bootstrap a community, like actively like just post organic content and like reply to other people who are relevant into your product and protocol. Make the story as good as possible so that people can come into the community. This is the slow way. This is something that we do, but the other 50% is also like, hey, doing stuff like Twitter raids or Telegram raids, where we get a bunch of people to like actively talk about your platform into the other ecosystems and communities that you have with the story that we have structured for you.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. So you're saying it's not organic. It's not like you just keep on providing value and you will be able to get users. Yes. It means that email signups, you have to partner up with people that already have a community to do that. How would someone go about it? I want to make it actionable for people listening.
Okay. Yes. So let's say, I'll take different platforms as examples. So if you're starting out on Twitter and if you're in the 0 to 1 phase, like getting a good story out there that can, like that can spread on its own is very important. And what I mean by that is, let's say, you are like a very technical project, and like if the branding colors and the story that you're using is just like everybody else, which is like cyberpunk, like tech related, then it's very difficult for you to stand out in the sea of other protocols and products that will be out there. So you having a good story on like what your product is about, and the branding has to be related to the value proposition that you're bringing to the table. Okay. So like aligning your brand to that and making a good story out of it will be like step one. Okay. So that, and step two is like, you drawing out a plan of how you will execute every day on that story. So you'll have to repeat the message again and again in your content. So create an editorial calendar that allows you to push content on that specific platform, if you whether you're choosing Twitter or Telegram, and create like a mixture of different types of content pieces that will work. This can be like a combination of memes, a combination of your story, a combination of the founder's story, a combination of like your like specific opinions and thought leadership things that will go out. And then the third component to this will be, you just actively building the community out. This will be there'll be two components to this. One is you actively engaging with other people and like responding to them, replying to them, and all of these other things. And the second component is, hey, if you want to go faster, you'll just like get a bunch of people who you will reward and incentivize to like talk about your product or protocol. This
Got it.
structure roughly works in every channel that you are using.
Got it. Makes sense. So we covered three ways: newsletter, SEO, Twitter, and Telegram. I want to talk about Telegram and then SEO. How can projects use Telegram to market? Like create your own community, or how does it work? Curious to know.
Yeah. So the way Telegram communities work is, first of all, like Twitter marketing is like standard for all products and protocols that we actively profess, and pretty much every company out there has it. Now the problem with Twitter is your community is not owned. So it's important that you do either Discord or Telegram to own the people who are actively invested in your product and protocol, want to see it grow, and are actively involved in your journey that's going on. So like how does Telegram marketing work? You need like a top of the funnel to like fill in the Telegram that's going to be there. So it can either be through Twitter or through your own network, depending on like if it's B2B, like you're selling to a small group of people. So Vortex is one of the prospects that we have. So they're a market maker. So for them, like it's not going to be like huge. You don't need a lot of Twitter marketing. They can just like create a Telegram group with existing clients and prospects that they are actively reaching out to, but who are not ready to like sign up with the product yet. So you need a top of the funnel that's going to fill the Telegram channel. And then again, the strategy remains the same, which is, hey, you'll come up with a very good action plan of, how you're going to educate the community, how you're going to like create like testimonials or case studies of people who have used the product and protocol. How will you actively tell the story of the product and the protocol? And, like creating like a healthy balance between educational content that I talked about and, also keeping it fun and light, and giving people a platform to like create like their own content alongside like whatever resources you've provided.
Makes sense. Makes sense. All right. So if I were to summarize, there are four different ways: newsletter, Twitter, SEO, and Telegram. Every project, every founder can start with Twitter. They need to first get their story and their branding right. They don't have to be same like the other projects, so they can stand out. Then they need to keep telling their same story again and again and again. And once they build that, they need to take that community to a place where they can own it, either Telegram or Discord. And I have one question here. There are a lot of projects that are already doing it, but they're not getting results. So in your experience, what are they doing wrong?
That's a very good question, because like the stuff that works is like the same old boring stuff, but it's just the way you do it. So the biggest dissonance that I have seen where, my expertise comes in, and this feels almost stupid to say, because because like it's so obvious that you'll be like, duh. It's the gap between, the engineering and the product team and the marketing and the growth team. The marketing and the growth team doesn't understand jack shit about like, hey, what the engineering team is built. And even if there is, like, what I do often is like I pull up a Twitter tweet and I say, this tweet says this thing. In my understanding, this means this, but the product is this, and like this is what should have been communicated. am I getting it right? And then I show them the gap that's there. So oftentimes it feels like, companies pay me a shit ton of money just to come in and like help their marketing and growth team understand like what the
Each other.
product and protocol is about,
But
and if
but
that
don't
is getting communicated
but
to them.
don't you think that's a bigger problem? Like, okay, see, like some projects have this problem, they can hire consultants or agencies like you, but there's not 100 Mias. Don't you think there should be a better way to solve this problem for every project?
Do you mean like this is a general problem of Web3 of not being able to explain tech to people?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. So what I've found is this is like a little meta, but so when I come into a company and I like kind of like talk to the product person, so this is very important. Like if very often what happens is consultants come in and they just talk to the marketing and growth people who will give you the KPIs, will tell you like exactly what's needed, but what's needed is sometimes not exactly what you think is needed, but it's something else. So you really have to talk to the product and the engineering team to understand as to what makes them passionate about the technology that they are building and investing in. And this problem of, hey, like I'm not able to like understand the tech. Sometimes I come in and I tell the growth and marketing team that, hey, you're trying to understand the tech, but that's not needed here. You don't even need that. Like what I mean by that is it's important to understand like what is the value proposition of your product or protocol. Sometimes you don't have to understand the tech, and it's okay for the marketing and the growth team to not understand it, unless you the people you are selling to, for them it's important to understand the tech. So sometimes it's all about like just coming in and helping the marketing and growth team, like saying to them that, hey, you're focusing on the tech. You first of all, you don't get the tech, and then you're trying to focus on the tech, but hey, that's not needed. The other way this question gets phrased to me is like, hey, in the content, do you feel like it's important to help people understand the tech? My answer to that is it really depends on the context. So let's say if you have like an EOA wallet, non-custodial, then it's important for people to understand like what they're getting into, right? And the consequences of, if they don't know how to handle it, versus, if it's a smart account wallet, and like, then you don't really need to understand like what's going on behind the scenes, because like the product is more about the user experience that you're creating. So it really depends on like where your product and protocol sits in the 0 to Web3 spectrum, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so I think every projects need a person who can explain concepts to 5 years old. I think that's the thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing. There's this
There's this
channel on
awesome
YouTube.
person on Twitter called Sahil Sen, who does this background. Shout out to him. He does this explain like M5 technology that's like really helpful.
Very nice. And there's this channel on YouTube called Whiteboard Crypto. I learned a lot from
Yes.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
very, very.
Whiteboard.
Yeah.
It's so interesting you bring them up. That's also like where I started.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
So my story goes like one day one of my co-founders showed me a picture of an ape, told me this monkey's worth millions of dollars. I
Mhm.
was hooked and I sat all night and watched all videos of whiteboard crypto, and again he explained me really well, and I think this is needed. Amazing. So we covered that. Lastly, let's touch a little bit more on SEO, because I personally spent a few months learning about it, and I recently came across something called programmatic SEO, with which you can generate
Right.
lots of pages. So for founders who are building, have no clue about what SEO is, give them a brief and give them at a high level how they can make it actionable. Uh, if they decide to work with you, or if they decide to do it on their own, how they can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So SEO is search engine optimization, which essentially means that the content pieces that you'll write will rank on Google when a user searches for them on Google. So if I write, buy Bitcoin or buy Ethereum, and kind of your exchange or your off ramp on ramp comes to like the result section, then like it's highly likely that I'll click on the website and I'll go through or buy my cryptocurrency through your product or platform. So, and similarly for any other developer tool, like if I'm looking for solution to a problem and you are the one who is kind of educating me on that, and if my problem state is point A and you're getting me to point B by using the product, it's highly likely that I'll sign up for the product and start using it. The way it's done is like a combination of two different things. One is on-page SEO and one is off-page SEO. On-page SEO is like while you're writing the article and uploading it to your CMS, you will optimize the article for certain keywords that will tell Google that, hey, my page is relevant to this particular term that I'm trying to target, the term or the keyword. So that when the user is searching for that term, that particular article comes up. So if I'm trying to get my article to rank for account abstraction, I will use the word account abstraction or ERC4337 a couple of times in my articles. This is on-page SEO. The other part of this is off-page SEO. This is related to, hey, are there other websites on the web that tell Google that this website is an authority on so and so subject? So this is called backlinking. So other websites on the internet are telling Google that, hey, this website is an authority on this term. This is one part of off-page SEO. The other part of off-page SEO, which is off-page, is essentially, things that you do outside of the content piece that you're trying to rank. So it includes things like, hey, how fast is your website? How is the user experience like? When I click on a particular link, does the page properly load up, or does the page doesn't exist? Have you removed those articles? And some other small details. So SEO is usually like a combination of on-page and off-page SEO that you have to do. It's a long-term process of 5 or 6 months that you have to invest in. How it looks like is, you sit down with an SEO strategist who kind of talks to you about all the keywords, relevant keywords that you want to rank for, and builds a editorial calendar or a map of, how you can rank on them. The strategy that we use for this is called pillar and cluster. So pillar are the key terms that you want to rank for, and clusters are the
Long tail
long form
keywords, like
questions. Yes, that users are trying to ask around that key pillar that you also want to rank for. It's very difficult for you to rank for small short tail keywords. So if you want to rank on, let's say, zero knowledge proofs, that will be very difficult for your protocol to do. So the approach, like I said, we take is, you try to list down all the long form content pieces that users are asking around the topic, and you try to rank for them first. And like when you have authority on when you've built topical authority around that particular keyword, your pillar page also starts to rank. Pillar page being the short tail keyword that you have, which is going to be zero knowledge proof. Clusters will be the long form questions around zero knowledge proofs that people are asking. So the more article or content pieces you're writing on a particular term, the more it tells Google that, hey, this website is an authority on this particular topic, and hey, we should rank this website for this particular term that we have. Yeah, the key point is, like, it's a long-term process, and you've got to be patient with it. One thing that helps in the space is like aligning the publishing of your content pieces with macro narratives that are happening. So Third Web, which is one of our clients, wrote an entire series on zero knowledge. We rank for all the terms that are related to zero knowledge. How we did that was we timed the publishing of the articles around the time when ZK Sync and Polygon collaboration was happening. So everybody was like, at that time, started talking about zero knowledge. So our Twitter thread got picked up, and the Twitter thread linked to the content piece that we have, that brought in a lot of traffic to that one particular page, which made us realize that, hey, now this article pieces have started ranking. So we can create a number of different articles related to this topic, which will also rank, because this is a term called link juice, which is like the authority of one page will pass on to the other pages that we have created. So pro tip, use macro narratives to draw traffic to website, be patient with the process, and just hire a good person to help you with it.
Yeah, that's something. Two questions here. I'll ask is it for a project founder? Is it better to learn the skill themselves, or hire someone in house, or work with an external agent? Be very honest. Like, what is the best thing to do for a founder?
Totally. So the answer is really, it depends. I wouldn't recommend any founder to do it all by themselves. Like that is too taxing. SEO, like, you don't want to do hit and trial with SEO, at least, because like as such, you need to be so patient with the process. And then, if you're trying to do it on your own, like just by, let's say, looking at, like, let's say because you have prior knowledge, or because, you're YouTubing or whatever, it just wouldn't work, because there are so many small updates that keep coming up, and you need a person who's 24/7, like just thinking about SEO for your brand. And that's tough. And that's why, just founder doing it, don't recommend. Now, hiring in-house for it, yes, it works. So for Alchemy, it's worked very well. So Alchemy hired somebody who was like an SEO expert from the Web2 world for a long time, and he came in, and like he's done I think he's the one who's popularized programmatic SEO so much in our industry. Brady, shout out to him. He's like an awesome person, knows SEO very well. So in-house, if you can hire an expert who's been who knows SEO in and out, then it's going to be really easy for you. What you have to do as next steps is just hire freelancers who can execute on the strategy. The in-house expert that you have will take care of your off-page SEO and will create a strategy for all your freelancers to execute on. What's also very important is if you're outsourcing this to freelancers or just hiring writers either in-house or externally, and not really outsourcing the strategy part of it, your instructions to the freelancer has to be very comprehensive, and you have to make sure that you're holding them to the quality of the content pieces that you want to do. So the second way is like really like ideal if you can like execute on it. And if you know that SEO is something that you want to invest like really long term into. The third option is like, hey, you just hire a contractor who can like help you with it. Two ways to go about this: either you outsource the entire thing to a contractor, or you like hire a contractor for the strategy and then maybe use a combination of freelancers and in-house people to execute on it. The third option is also great, especially if you have a contractor who's worked on like different projects. I would not recommend like just hiring a Web2 person to come in and do SEO for a Web3 company. It usually doesn't work out because our industry is like very different. It changes so much, and you need like an expert who kind of understands the dynamic nature of the industry and how quickly everything goes, and can also time the macro narratives with the content pieces that you're writing. So the third option is also like a really good one where you can hire a contractor who really understands SEO in and out, and ask the contractor to either help you hire other freelancers who can execute and do the grunt work so that you're not paying so much to the contractor, or if you have the bandwidth and the money, like just outsource everything to the contractor itself.
Makes sense. I myself, when I started my studio, I hired someone and it got me good results. Like some of the biggest clients I secured was just through inbound. So for some reason, we rank for game development. We don't do that. We focus on dApp development, but we rank for that because someone really did good stuff. But then I started learning all by myself. Because the way I like to approach things is that I at least need to know how things work, because then other cannot, BS me. So I know what they're talking about.
Right.
So my one of the questions that I have, and many people would have, like the process, you have defined the process very smoothly. The first part, how do I figure out which keywords to use? Because if I use tools like Google Trend to figure out, okay, if this specific keyword has search volume, there isn't any search volume. So the projects that you work with, is it done on assumptions, or is there a way you can figure out what people are searching for?
Right. That's a very good question. It's a combination of different things. So for pillar terms, usually most of my clients know what they want to rank for. So Web3 Development Studio, I think that would be a key term for you. Yeah. So like most people like know the seed phrases or the main topics that they want to rank for. ZK core processors, like zero knowledge proofs. I don't know why I'm thinking of that example so much. Like I've been like myself consuming a lot of ZK stuff, but yeah, like whatever it is the topic that you want to rank for, usually most of my clients know the seed keywords that they want to rank for. When it comes to like after the seed keywords, like how do you find topics to like build topical authority on, or understand what people are searching for? That is a combination of different factors. I'm so glad you brought Web3, like just Google Trends up, because that's very important. We use a combination of Web3 trends, questions people are asking on Reddit, and questions people are asking in the community to like inform like what are the content pieces that we should be creating content on. And like Web3 is like so niche and unique. Like sometimes I just like we write articles on subjects that don't have that much search volume, but we know like are relevant to us, and it's likely that it's going to like only trend upwards going from there. So we take all of these different factors into consideration. How do you find keywords? Like your community is the best place, honestly. Like people are asking questions, like that is the place you should be taking the most inspiration from. Your in-house team knows a lot of shit. It's just that companies just don't ask their own employees about this stuff. So your own team, then your own team, and like again your community is like the answer to it.
Very amazing. So I think we have covered a lot of things. Is there anything else that you as a company help projects with, or just project can use with inbound? Because I think that's where you specialize in inbound and organic.
Yes.
Is there anything?
Yeah. Can you please repeat your question? You said anything that companies can?
So we covered a lot of things. So again, the whole the podcast was structured around giving valuable and actionable insights to Web3 founders and Web3 startups and how they can leverage content marketing to drive traffic, get results. We talked about newsletter, we talked about SEO, we talked about Twitter and Telegram. Is there anything else that project founders can do where they can get results? Or these are the four main things that if they do right, they'll succeed?
Um, the answer is like a little different than what you're expecting from me. So what usually happens is companies get me in and they think like there are different types of prospects at that company. One category is, hey, like we really don't know where to start, and like we don't know what we don't know, plus we don't know where to start. Like I really don't know how to even approach this. The second is, hey, we know what we are looking for, and we know that you're the expert and you're the right person to hire for this. Let's go. And then there is this third category will be like, hey, my competitors are doing this, so I want to do this, and like yeah, like or you're like things are just so fucked up. I don't even know like how we got this all so wrong. So the second category is like ideal for me. Like the first two categories, like how I try to usually like navigate this is like I know that they're getting me as somebody who will fix their marketing, but what usually ends up happening after the first and second month is like we all come down and we said, hey, it's not a marketing problem. Like it's not. It's really not. It's either a product problem, it's either an in-house problem, or it's just like the founder not talking to their community.
Yeah,
That's essentially what it is.
I think in Web3, most of the problems are the product problem because they don't have any product market fit. No one wants to use and pay for the product. Most of the products
Right.
that we have come across. Amazing. So I think we covered a lot. Is there anything else that you would like to share with founders and startups, something actionable that they can apply today, and tell them more on how they can reach out to you and how can they work with you and how exactly can you deliver the results for them
Yeah.
at a high level?
Yeah, absolutely. Like one thing I usually look for when I'm talking to the founder or just prospects in general is like, hey, do you know what you're doing here? Or are you just here for the money, like the quick short-term money? Like it's okay. Like being for the money is like okay, but you just need to like understand like the other rules of the game as well. And like, yeah, if you're not interested in even like learning this, then it's like a strong no for me. So my genuine thing that I would want to add in this inbound marketing conversation is like again something that's not conventional, but like hey, like like you don't need to look for more things. Like just focus on what you have at the moment. Like all the answers are there. It's your internal team, it's your community, it's your own product. Like focus on that. Like like marketing will take care of itself. And if you feel like you really don't know like where to start, it's usually because like you have problem in all these three things. Like once you have clarity on it, once you like you'll start seeing traction on your own, and you'll know like what the next steps are, and you'll like automatically come in the second category, which is hey, I know what I'm doing here. Like I don't know marketing, but I know like what I'm doing is working. I just need like an expert like you who can like just execute on this. Don't be in the first or the third bucket. And like definitely don't do things like just because competitors are doing it, because it just wouldn't work. Your community is the answer to like 99% of the problems that you have. Like just ask them, ask your internal team, look into your own product and fix the problems that are there in it. So that's
Got it.
my yeah.
Got with so much knowledge and insights that you have, don't you get offers to just join as a co-founder and help with distribution?
Yeah. Oh
How do
yeah.
you say no to that?
Yeah. I've had some crazy offers around this, but no, I feel like I make more money than these offers. It's fine. I also feel like I can
Yeah, that's my next question actually. Do you
yeah.
plan to do your own product or project with just all the knowledge that you have? You can make it work. Any investor would be willing to fund you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for saying. That's very kind. I already am working on a product with
Oh, you're already working. Okay, very
yes,
nice.
I already
Do you
have
want
my
to do you
product
want to
foundation.
share anything on that, or it will come out? Then we'll see.
Oh, it's already like some version of MVP is already out there. I'm like I said, I'm already building it with CMOs at one of the companies that I work with. It's so interesting. Like the space is so small, and this is like just generally an advice for a consultant: just do good work. Like Unhashed has like my branding is not that strong. Like Unhashed is generally as an agency. It's just that word spreads if you do good work. So the person who hired me at Third Web, Pat, is actually now the CMO of Fleek, which is another prospect that we are starting working with. Chad, who was actually my CMO at Fleek, has now moved to this other company called Say Foundation, and again we are in talks with working with them. So like again, space is Gold Sky, which is like one company that I feel really inspired by. Their CMO has now moved to this company called Gaia. Alio, which is another company that I work with, their CMO moved to another company, and I'm working with all these new companies that these people join. So yeah, like small space, like word spreads, do good work. For if there are consultants out there, like word will automatically spreads. And in terms of like my insights and downloading them into a product, yes, I'm already working on a product called Web3 Collab Room, which is there. I definitely need to come up with a better name, but I'm just testing out the product at the moment. It's out there. It's live on LinkedIn if you guys want to check
Okay,
out, and
I'll
on
add the
Twitter.
link in the description.
Yeah. So essentially, it's a tool that connects different marketing and growth folks in the space to do like collaborations opportunities. It's BD for the marketing and the growth people. So if I'm doing, let's say, a long form research post, and there's some other company that wants to collaborate with me on doing that, um, on doing that research piece, then that's what the platform allows you to do. And we've already connected like a lot of different companies with the platform. We are trying to like have more traction on the product like at the moment, and then once we feel like we have enough demand coming in, we'll probably turn it into a like actually coded product that people can use.
Yeah,
It's a Telegram
because
bot, so you get inputs on hey, what offers you want to accept, or what collaboration opportunities you want to accept. Every week we give you prompts. You either accept, reject. If you accept, the bot automatically makes an intro with you to the relevant company. That's
wow. Yeah, because I think in the Web3 BD and sales space, there are a lot of tools missing. Some of them are really good, like Enreach,
yes.
Spreado, Drippy, and I've been using all these tools, so they're really good tools. Amazing. Thank you so much, Mia, for coming on. It was a pleasure talking to you. I personally learned a lot. You might have noticed I was asking questions that I am personally interested in because I do work with a lot of founders. So amazing. Thank you so much for coming on, Mia.
Yeah.
With
Thank you
that,
for
we'll
inviting
wrap up
me.
the
Yeah.
with that, we'll wrap up the episode. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next episode.